Longest running rivalry in Conference USA, dating all the way back to 1924. It's 100 miles of hate as the Lady Toppers of Western Kentucky invade Murfreesboro to take on Middle Tennessee. What's going on, everybody, and welcome courtside here at the Glass House. He's Darren Park. I'm Jake Rose. You're watching women's college basketball right here on ESPN+. And Darren, these are the two best teams in the conference the last decade. For the last few years, it's been all Middle.
It really has, Jake. This storied rivalry is one of the best and most competitive in women's basketball. The Lady Raiders have a 3-game winning streak thanks to a historic sweep in Bowling Green last season. MTSU became the first team ever to beat the Lady Toppers twice in Diddle Arena in the same season. The team that limits turnovers and takes care of the basketball today is going to walk away with a huge Conference USA victory right here in Murfreesboro.
It's the 79th meeting all-time between Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. Middle leads the series 45-33. And Western has won the tip, and Dorsard with the steal from the tip. Middle Tennessee comes into this ball game 15-4 mark, 6-2 in conference. As Dorsard is going to line up her first three of the afternoon, and an offensive rebound by Courtney Whitson. Western Kentucky 7-1 in conference play, 14-5. Had a 9-game win streak snapped on Thursday with a road loss against UAB. And looking for their first win in a couple years against Middle Tennessee.
This is going to be a fun game for the fans. Obviously, it's a rivalry game, but Western Kentucky does so many things different defensively. It'll be interesting to see what Middle decides to do and how they decide to attack it. Middle Tennessee is going to play man-to-man. That's what they do. But you're going to see everything but the kitchen sink from the Lady Toppers today.
Whitson, 3 in transition, is off the mark, and that's one thing we are going to see a bunch of tonight. A lot of threes, as these are the two best three-point shooting teams in Conference USA. As there's a look at Rick Insel, the head man in charge for this Lady Raider program for the last 17 seasons. 22-11 all-time against Western. And Middle with another turnover.
Middle's going to pressure you. They like to throw a little token press. They'll trap sometimes if you get too aggressive. They want to force Western Kentucky to turn the ball over. If they can limit their easy looks at the basket, that's going to play into their hand today.
Anastasia Boulder-Reva can't track down the pass from Whitson. And Rick Insel telling his junior forward Whitson one more pass before that entry pass into the post.
Both teams make a living on capitalizing on turnovers, and we're going to talk about that a lot today. Western Kentucky forces 22 turnovers. They get 22 points a game off of turnovers. If Middle turns it over, they hope it's like it was right there. It was a dead ball turnover.
Whitson again, this one misses everything, as both teams have yet to score, as we are a combined 0 for 5 from the floor, and all 5 shots have been threes, as there's Greg Collins looking for his 3rd win against Middle here in this series. Longtime assistant under Michelle Clark-Hurd, took over this program back in 2018.
Does a great job as a basketball guy, been in it his whole career, was at Louisville with Tom Collin. I mean, Greg Collins knows more basketball, or has forgotten more than you and I probably know. Greg does a great job here with Western Kentucky.
5 on the clock for the Toppers. 3 from the wing is off. And an offensive rebound by the freshman Jalen Foster. Now another 3. This one will finally drop. And that's one of the 5 true freshmen that's going to get a lot of run tonight for Western Kentucky, Macy Blevins.
Offensive rebound, kick out for 3 is so dangerous. And Macy Blevins, that's what she does. 68% of her shots this year are 3-point shot attempts. She will shoot every time she touches it if she's open like she was right there.
Western as a team shoots 34% from behind the arc, as Boulder-Reva spent a little bit too much time in the paint. That 34% is the best number in Conference USA. They're also the leading scoring offense in the entire conference. 73 points per game are the Lady Toppers. And another turnover. That's 3 turnovers here early for Western. Wide open three, Jalen Gregory.
Transition three, Jalen Gregory. It's nice to see her back on the floor. She's deadly from outside. In Western Kentucky, they force a lot of turnovers, but they turn it a lot also.
And another turnover as Alexis Mead took a tumble. Gregory again for three. This one rims out. Neither team is going to be afraid to shoot here this afternoon. Abdel Gawad. Now Blevins again for three. Teams combined 2 for 10 from the floor. Excuse me, 2 for 12 now. Combined 2 for 10 from three. Whitson again. And cleared by Western. And Blevins lost it on the drive, but it'll stay with the Hilltoppers, as that's our first whistle, it feels like. And wow, a lot of shots a little early, Darren. They're kind of hard to keep up a little bit
Frenetic pace a little bit, and rivalry games, emotions are high. Both teams want to come out and establish their tempo and their identity right away. So this doesn't surprise me. Look for both teams to kind of settle into a little bit more of a rhythm.
Step back jumper from Maya Meredith.
That was an excellent contested shot by Courtney Whitson. She got up and really extended to contest that shot, and she did it without fouling. Middle Tennessee just unable to secure the rebound. Western Kentucky with another chance here on the offensive end. WKU.
15 on the clock. Meredith's going to pull a three. This one is too strong. Reigning Conference USA Freshman of the Week for the last 4 weeks is Maya Meredith. And another three. This time it's Ksenia Malashka off the bench.
Great drop by Dorsar right there. And Western Kentucky wasted no time. They love to get the ball out in transition, usually on a miss. That was a rare opportunity where they actually ran on a make.
And Maral Abdel Gawad says, enough of this three-point shooting business. I'm taking it to the rack. And she gets fouled. And we'll head to the line for two. And she knocks down the first leading scorer in Conference USA so far this season is Abdel Gawad, the lone senior on this Western Kentucky basketball squad. Knocks down a pair.
And that's what makes what Coach Collins has done so far this year that much more remarkable, Jake. Abdel Gawad, the only senior amongst a lot of freshmen and a couple sophomores sprinkled in there for good measure. So they took their bumps early this year, but as you can see, they're really starting to find their groove now, and these freshmen are starting to play like sophomores.
And Abdel Gawad getting it done on both ends of the floor with the steal. She is second in the conference in steals. Now Meredith taking the contact, can't get the jumper to drop in the lane. Yeah, Abdel Gawad, the only senior, but not just the only senior, the only upperclassman for WKU. 7 newcomers for each of these teams coming into this season, so a lot of new faces to this rivalry. Gregory for three. Stays with middle. So I hope you like jump shooting, because we got plenty of it here this afternoon in the Glass House. Middle Tennessee on top by 1 with 4:17 to go in the first. First it was Jalen Gregory knocking down a three from the wing, and then Ksenia Malashka in transition going splash, and those are the only 2 buckets here early for Middle Tennessee as they lead by 1. And Darren, both of these offenses still trying to find a rhythm here in the first quarter.
A little bit. I expect both will calm down. It's tough for Middle as you see that steal right there off the inbound. Simply the fact of the defenses that Western Kentucky plays and the way they change defenses. It takes some time to get used to seeing that in live. You can practice it, but it's tough to see it.
Second team foul going against Middle Tennessee. That's Dorsar, the transfer from Maine. Couldn't get her feet set in time, and that's the freshman Alexis Mead at the line for WKU. Hits the first, 77% from the free throw stripe as we get another look. And Meade knocks down both. So Western showing some full court pressure after the free throws. As you said, Darren, both of these teams defensively very, very good at turning opposing teams over. Western Kentucky forcing 22 turnovers per contest. That is second best in Conference USA.
And you can see they went full court man and then dropped back to a 2-3 zone and tried to trap Dorsar and make her give up the basketball. It's all done to disrupt rhythm so you can't run your offense.
Tough drive from Abdel Gawad, but Gregory got a hand on it. Possession stays with the Lady Toppers.
The way to neutralize these types of defenses, Jake, is make threes. And so there's no surprise. That's Middle's game plan. That's what they do well. When they make some threes early, they're very, very hard to beat. If they can knock down a couple threes here, that will totally change the tone of this defense right now for Western Kentucky. As a good take right there, gets the young lady to the free throw line, and Jalen Gregory picks up another foul.
Hope Savory, the sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky, on the drive, will head to the charity stripe. Third foul against Middle here in the first quarter as Abdel Gawad will take a seat. And Savory is short on the first free throw. Another look at the foul against Gregory, her first.
Yeah, sometimes when, as a guard, you want to be a shot blocker in that situation, and I'm sure Jalen Gregory's been taught. Make her earn it at the foul line right there on that. So that's not a bad foul. She missed one of the free throws, so Middle Tennessee has got to be able to run something here. Western Kentucky now just in straight man-to-man.
And they are flying around all over the place as Blakely, the freshman, shuffled her feet. As we had conflicting whistles, it sounded like, from our officials.
Yeah, there was contact, and the one official was going to call a foul, but the shuffle of the feet first negates the foul, and it's a travel and another turnover for Middle Tennessee.
There's Roy Goldbellion on that far sideline with the whistle. Savory with a three. And Whittington hits the deck, and a foul going against Western.
I think Maya Meredith, as they were fighting for the rebound here underneath, we'll get a good look at it here, and just kind of hip checked her and undercut her a little. They both went up initially. Good job fighting for that loose ball, and good job on that replay by our crew. Western now showing a little 2-1-2. Usually you drop back to zone off of this.
And you had mentioned earlier, not a lot of height on this Western roster, but because of that, that kind of gives them an advantage in the sense that they can change up defensive looks. As Gregory's three is too strong.
Yeah, Jake, great point. A lot of parts are interchangeable with this Lady Topper defense, and they do a real good job of communicating. They really talk to each other, and to play zone defense and to change defenses mid-possession, you have to be able to communicate. And for a young team with so many freshmen to be able to do that, that's a credit to Coach Collins and what he's been able to do here with the Lady Toppers.
That's a big foul. That's the second foul on Senia Malashka, the leading scorer for Middle Tennessee. She comes off the bench, has only started one game, but she has one of Middle Tennessee's 2 buckets here in the first quarter, as Foster in rhythm is well off. And now here comes Whittington in transition. Gonna take it herself. And Savory is gonna be rung up for her first foul and the second against Western.
I almost didn't hear the whistle, Jake. I was wondering if they were gonna call that. We kind of got an obstructed view there, but definitely a foul there. Good job by Alexis Whittington in transition. The best way to beat defenses like Western's going to throw at you today is to attack before they can get back and set up. So that was a real nice job by Middle, attacking in transition and getting to the foul line.
So Alexis Whittington, the senior from right here in Murfreesboro, from Riverdale High School. This is the first free throw among the conference leaders in minutes, steals, and defensive rebounds. Sinks the second. First point tonight for Whittington. And Western Kentucky with a 1-point advantage, 2:15 here in the first quarter. And Meade might have shuffled her feet. And a nice move by Jalen Foster. First bucket for the freshman.
She's a lefty, and on the block like that, she likes to go to her right shoulder and her left hand. Real nice job by her there with the answer for the Lady Toppers as they're back to their zone.
Boulder-Rava in trouble, and we're going to get a jump ball. Western Kentucky trying to get a travel call on that sideline, but possession will stay with Middle as Abdel Gawad will check back in. 13 on the shot clock for Middle. Whitson under the rim and count it.
Middle Tennessee has been running that same out of bounds for 17 years since Coach Central has been here, and great job by Courtney Whitson. She just muscled her way in there and got the ball, went back to her right hand and powered up and through. Good back down dribble, and she aggressively goes up through contact and gets the score.
First foul against the freshman Foster. Third team foul against Western as we are locked up at 10. As here comes the trap from Middle, and another turnover force by the Blue Raiders. And Abdel Gawad takes it right back and takes it to the rack.
Great explosion by Abdel Gawad. She got that steal, and there was no doubt she wanted to take it the length of the floor, and a nice finish there at the basket.
2-point advantage for WKU as we are creeping up towards 1 minute left. Boulder-Rava wide open doing jumping jacks under the rim. Finally got the attention of Dorsar, and we're tied at a dozen.
She did with Boulder-Rava's height. One of the things that Middle can do and have success with is throwing over the top of the zone. That was a great look by Dorsar and a great job throwing it higher near the rim as we see a turnover now by Western Kentucky, but real interesting to see how they'll adjust now, and that'll flatten the zone as Boulder-Rava's roaming around the rim down there.
7th first quarter turnover for Western Kentucky as Jenna Walker checks in for her first action. One of those 5 true freshmen that we'll see tonight for Greg Collins' Western Kentucky squad. Boulder-Rava looking for shooters. Now Whittington. Got it.
Excellent job. Inside out basketball. Alexis so patient, got her feet set.
And another travel. Little bit of a late whistle coming from the baseline.
The 3,000 people here today, they saw that right away. They wanted the whistle. Fans are into it. We've got a great crowd today here for this rivalry game.
Call going against the sophomore forward, Selma Kulo. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Middle with a 3-point advantage. Blakely on the drive, right-hand scoop. Gets her own rebound and gets it to fall.
Excellent finish. Courtney Blakely, Middle Tennessee just ran their man stuff there the last few possessions and had success doing it.
Middle goes on a little 5-0 run to end the first quarter, and they've got a 5-point lead against their arch rival Western Kentucky. Second quarter action from the Glass House coming up next on ESPN+. It's a 5-point advantage for the home team, Middle Tennessee. And anytime Western Kentucky comes to the Murphy Center, you know you're going to have a lively atmosphere, and that first quarter did not disappoint. This place is jumping this afternoon in Murfreesboro. Alongside Darren Park, I'm Jake Rose. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on ESPN Plus for 100 Miles of Hate, the best rivalry in Conference USA.
A lot of blue here in the crowd, and behind Western's bench, there's some red splattered up there amongst the blue seats.
Neither team really putting on an offensive clinic in that first quarter, but Middle able to find a little bit of juice the final couple minutes, go on a little 7-0 run, as that's going to be an offensive foul against Abdel Gawad for first.
That's a big call. That's great defense. Alexis Whittington, the shutdown defender for Rick Insel and the Lady Raiders. She's got the assignment today on Abdel Gawad. You hit it on the head, Jake. Neither team's shooting the ball great, but we talked turnovers, and we said we were going to keep an eye on turnovers the whole day. They both have 6 turnovers. Middle Tennessee, though, 8 points off of those 6 turnovers. Western's only converted 4 points off of Middle's turnovers. So credit to Middle. That's why they've got the lead right now.
Boldareva fouled on the drive and sent her to the line for a couple free ones.
The last time she had that post touch, they collapsed down on her. She kicks it to Alexis Whittington for 3. This time they have to stay out for fear of Middle's 3-point shooting ability. Boldareva just goes and turns and attacks the rim and gets a chance to get to the foul line. See how Western here, they're worried about the shooters right now, and that gives Boldareva a chance to get to the ring.
Boldareva, true freshman from Moscow, Russia, misses both. Still a 5-point game, and that's going to be an over and back as Alexis Mead had all 3 parts of her body, both feet in the ball, cross half court, and then took another step back.
And that's a freshman mistake right there, especially in a rivalry game. She's from Moreno Valley. She's well coached, comes all the way from California out here as Dorsar finds herself wide open against the zone, just can't pull the trigger.
Stays with Middle.
The best thing you can do, and I'm sure Coach Insel has talked to his team at length about it, when you don't know what the defense is going to run, just run your stuff. Be committed to running your stuff. Run your man defense, if that's what's called. Good ball movement.
Sar with a quick trigger. Boldareva with the offensive board. And finally corralled by Western. And here comes Abdel Gawad. Abdel Gawad in the post. Now 10 on the shot clock for Western. And taken away by Whittington. 2-on-1. Now Sar in transition. Money.
No fear in Dorsar. She missed 2 3-point shots the last time down the floor. No fear in Alexis Whittington finding her teammate. She knew she was going to knock that one down. Great 3-point shot in transition.
Her 50th made 3-point bucket this season. Leads Conference USA. Knocks down almost 3 a game. And good defense by Courtney Whitson, but was out of bounds. Middle has an 8-point advantage. And Greg Collins is going to take a timeout with 8:05 here in the second.
That's a good timeout for Coach Collins, just to steady the troops. Again, he's got such a young team. He's going to continue to teach them, continue to help them develop.
Get another look at that Dorsar transition 3. She did this for a long time in Maine, where she was a 1,000-point scorer, along with 500 assists, and the grad transfer. Still shooting here in Murfreesboro, as she gives Middle Tennessee an 8-point advantage.
And Western Kentucky's doing the right thing. They're trying to get the ball to Abdel Gawad in the high post area. And I like her in that spot. She's so effective when she gets the ball right there around the 15-foot mark. She wasn't comfortable the last time down the floor. She kicked it back out. Alexis Whittington, real smart defender. When Abdel Gawad came back in to reestablish herself, that's when Alexis said, I can just get around you and pick that, and that's how she got that easy steal.
Raw Abdel Gawad leading Conference USA in scoring. Total points, points per game, field goals made. She's second in steals, field goal attempts, free throw attempts, minutes, field goal percentage. She is putting on a show. in her senior season. The senior from Cairo, Egypt, certainly has to be a front runner for the Conference USA Player of the Year.
A lot of competition, though, and we're still got a long way to go. But 3 times CUSA Player of the Week, Mero Abdelgawad, and she does have a nice game. She can shoot the 3. She's quicker than you think. You know, when you see her in person, and she gets ahead of steam, and again, just like all the Lady Toppers, she plays hard. She's got a high motor. She really competes on the basketball court, and that's what makes her a special player. Already has a couple steals tonight. We've seen that athleticism, her jump in the passing lane. 10 seconds on the shot clock as Blevins will inbound for WKU. Gabby McBride, redshirt freshman, standing 6'3", just checking in for her first action tonight. Just 1 tick off the shot clock. And a prayer thrown to Abdelgawad, able to corral in the backcourt. Mead will step into a 3. And Whittington comes away with it. Alexis Whittington has been everywhere on the floor right now for Middle Tennessee. And Mead took a shot on the rebound, but Western able to come away with it. Middle with an 8-point advantage, looking for their 4th straight win in this series. And WKU going with some size now to battle's middle size. And I think we talked about Jalen Gregory. I didn't see who the foul was on, but when you get beat as a guard off dribble penetration, it's not your job to block your shot. Your job is to just sit there and be straight up and let the bigs come in. That's their job. That's why they're on the floor there. Foul is on Jalen Gregory. That's going to be her 2nd, and the first team foul against Middle Tennessee. Meredith knocks down the first, her first point here tonight. Let's take a look at this. You'll see Boldareva goes straight up and just kind of gets her hand there, and I think Gregory came in from the backside and tried to swat that. And Meredith misses the back end. 2nd leading scorer for this Western Kentucky squad. Blakely, Whitson, Whittington, Boldareva, and Saar, the 5 on the floor for Rick Ensel. Saar, drive and kick. Whittington, wing 3, misses everything. But Johnny on the spot is Whitson, who's able to finish. Great job by Courtney Whitson. It's so hard to rebound balls that don't hit the rim right there. That ball just fell right into Courtney Whitson's lap. Both of her field goals have come at the rim here in this first half, after missing her first 3 shots, all 3s. As Middle's lead is now 9. And another takeaway for Middle. Their 10th takeaway here in the first half. Saar's going to pull up and drain it. Middle Tennessee's defense leading to offense right now as they've extended this lead. They're just doing a nice job with ball pressure on Western Kentucky right now, really frustrating those guards. 2nd 3 for Saar, and the 5th for Middle here in the first half, as now it's a 12-point lead. Middle's offense starting to click after a rough start. And Abdelgawad throws it right to Courtney Whitson. Great extra pass by Courtney Blakely. 3 can't fall for Whitson. Meredith, too strong. Western Kentucky now 1 for 10 from distance. A nice head fake by Alexis Whittington, got Maya Meredith up in the air, and that's the 2nd foul on the freshman from Taylor Mill, Kentucky. Really nice job. Alexis Whittington goes to the shot fake, and she was patient with it. That's so critical and such a great thing to teach young players. She just held it enough to know she was going to get that contact before she tried to put it on the bounce. The senior showing the freshman
just exactly how shot fake works. As Blakely on the drive, pinballs around, and she will go to the line for 2.
She's such a difference maker when she comes on the floor here for Middle. She's the one Lady Raider that's going to put it on the bounce, can get in there amongst the trees and create a shot for other people. Dorsar's more crafty. She likes her middle game. She likes to shoot the 3. Courtney Blakely's going to get you off the bounce and attack the rim.
Blakely, the freshman from Gary, Indiana, had 4 points in the big win for Middle on Thursday against Marshall here in this building. Knocks down her second free throw. 4 points tonight for Blakely as Middle shows pressure after the make. And there's Dorsar jumping the passing lane. Now Meade looking for help. Middle's defense doing a great job of stymieing this Western offense, not letting them get set as Meade steps through and draws a foul.
Yeah, they really are doing a nice job of pressuring the Western Kentucky guards and really making it difficult for them to advance the ball up the floor. A couple Lady Toppers were open over the backside, but that's such a tough pass to make when you can't see through the defense of the trap.
First free throw from Meade rims out. Knocks down the second. 3 points for Meade, the freshman. Free throws, bit of an issue for Western Kentucky this year, just 11th in the conference. Really struggled from the stripe in their loss on Wednesday against UAB and went 17 of 28, good enough for just 60%. Point lead for Middle as we are halfway through the second quarter here at the Murphy Center. As Boldareva and McBride get tied up and a jump ball's called, and Middle will keep it.
Yeah, and that's where Boldareva strength, that she just has to get a little stronger with the ball, get a little wider base, chin it, get it under her, down around her shoulders where she can really kind of keep the ball intact. She'll get that.
And Blakely threw it right into the hands of McBride. 8 turnovers now for Middle. Faustino 3. Just grazes the rim for Teresa Faustino, the sophomore transfer from Oregon State. And Whitson, a little bit too indecisive, called for a double dribble.
Yeah, Courtney Whitson, the leader for this Lady Raider team from Dobbins-Bennett. I know Grandpa Mike is watching today, but she just sometimes gets a little ahead of herself, wanting to do too much right there.
Foster, nice move, but Boldareva just a little bit too long.
Such a luxury to have that size protecting the paint for your team.
And another shot fake for Whittington, and Whitson with another offensive rebound. Count that one.
It's like a transition alley-oop in men's basketball for the women's game. Offensive rebound, kick out for 3. Any chance you get, that's the best offense you could have. I love when teams do that.
Second 3 for Gregory, as the lead is now 16 for Middle. Faustino looking for help. Now Savori from the corner, in and out. And the rough shooting for the typically hot shooting Western Kentucky Lady Toppers continues, as they are now just 1 for 12 from behind the arc. But more than that, just 3 made field goals here in the first half, Darren.
Yeah, and Middle Tennessee, we talked about it. If they start making threes, that really changes the dynamic of this game, and that's what they're doing. 6 for 18 now from the three-point line. But Western Kentucky's got to continue to do what they do. They'll continue to battle.
In and out for Gregory, but Boldareva there to clean it up.
Coach Collins might need another timeout. He's going to take one here. Again, don't want to get this too far out of hand, but the size and the strength and the experience right now for Middle Tennessee is showing through.
And Middle Tennessee on a 12-1 run over the last 4 minutes. And a big number that jumps out to me when I look at the stats, 9 offensive rebounds early for Middle Tennessee.
Well, it's the size. We talked about the Lady Toppers. They're smaller. They went to a bigger lineup to try to neutralize that a little bit. But when you've got the size of Boldareva, and then you've got the agility and the aggressiveness on the boards that Courtney Whitson provides, Lexus Whittington provides. Middle Tennessee, a very, very good rebounding team on the offensive side of things. They're showing it right now.
We were curious what we were going to see from Western Kentucky. We mentioned they had a 9-game winning streak coming into this week. They lost on Thursday night on the road at UAB. Curious how this young team was going to respond in a rivalry game on the road. And right now, they're shooting just 16% from the floor.
Life on the road anywhere is difficult, but Middle Tennessee, one of the toughest places to play in Conference USA.
And Savory in rhythm knocks down a 3, a much, much needed 3 for Western.
That was a good answer and a good use of the timeout by Coach Collins. Calm his team down, remind them to do what they do as they're still in their zone. This time it's a 1-2-2 look. You go to a 1-2-2 to kind of neutralize the three-point line. So this is a good move by the Lady Toppers here.
5 to shoot for Middle. Boldareva from the corner. Now here comes Meade. $15-point lead for Middle. A little more than 2 minutes left in the first half. Faustino is going to pull it. Got it. Back-to-back threes for the Lady Toppers. Faustino just a 29% three-point shooter. Knocks down a big one for Western. Boldareva against McBride. And that's going to go against McBride. Didn't give Boldareva enough room on that baseline. Second against McBride.
That's where Boldareva's really starting to come into her own a little bit. She got the post catch down low, turned and faced and attacked the rim.
Boldareva has been playing exceptionally well the last few ball games, averaging 13.5 points and shooting 61% from the floor the last 3 games. And in all of those, or I should say in each of the last 3 games, has set a career high in points, starting with 10 against FIU last week, and then 14 against Southern Miss last Saturday, and then 17 against Marshall on Thursday.
We talk about the freshman for the Lady Toppers. Boldareva is just a freshman also. So as she's getting further along into this season and getting more comfortable, you're starting to see her grow and her numbers improve.
Bit of a heat check for Savory on that one. And then a foul on the other end going against Faustino. Her first and the 5th against Western in the quarter.
Dorsar is just, she's so heady. She's such a student of the game. She had the lane to the rim, but she knew worst case scenario, if she created that contact, she was going to get to the foul line.
And an inverted horn before the free throw as Saar, who's shooting her first free throws in 4 games, misses the first.
Coach Insel not thrilled with his home court advantage right there.
Saar, an 83% free throw shooter, splits the pair as Blakely will come in for Gregory. With 1:22 to go, Middle with a 15-point lead. Maya Meredith, the reigning Conference USA Freshman Player of the Year, blocked by Whitson. One minute left in the first half. Middle Tennessee finding their rhythm on offense here in this second quarter. Leading by 15 as Saar, a rainbow 3. Now Boldareva turns it right back over. 10th offensive rebound, though, for Middle Tennessee here in this first half, as Savory will pull the trigger again.
Western Kentucky, so dangerous in transition, and that's one of the keys when you talked with head coach Rick Insel before the game. He hit on it. We've got to slow them down in transition, and Savory loves shooting transition threes.
Second three tonight for Savory as that foul goes against the freshman Mead, her first. And it's 2 shots for Courtney Blakely. Able to bounce home the second one. 5 points for the freshman. Shot clock is off for Western. They trail by 13.
Middle only 2 team fouls this quarter, so they could use one here if they want.
Meredith on the drive, dropped it off, but was fouled on the drive. Looking for Tori Hunter.
I don't think Courtney Whitson was trying to foul there. And heady play by Western Kentucky right there as Courtney Whitson fell asleep as the ball was handed to the Lady Topper player.
Whittington at the buzzer. Can't get it to drop, but Middle Tennessee, after the first half, will head to the locker room with an 11-point advantage over their arch rival, thanks to some hot shooting from the main transfer, Dor Sar. Middle on top by 11. Less than a minute away from second half action here at the Murphy Center. Alongside Darren Park, I'm Jake Rose. Middle Tennessee on top of Western Kentucky, 36-25, looking for their 4th straight win here in the best rivalry in Conference USA, 100 miles of hate. And Darren, in that first half, it was Middle Tennessee's defense and some hot shooting towards the end of the half that gave them this lead.
It sure was, Jake. Middle Tennessee, when they make threes, they can compete with and beat anybody in the country. When they don't make threes, they're still going to win a lot of games because that's Middle. They're going to defend. They're going to play hard. They're going to be gritty. But when the 3 balls fall, Middle Tennessee is as dynamic as any team in the country.
Middle Tennessee knocked down 6 in the first half, going 6 of 22 from behind the arc after starting the game about 1 for 11. At one point, these teams were about 2 for 22 from behind the arc, but both eventually settled in a little bit. And now Middle with an 11-point advantage as Western Kentucky will get the first possession of the second half, and they have got to find a way to get their leading scorer and the conference's leading scorer, Morel Abdel-Gawad, going. Just 4 points in that first half, but only 2 field goal attempts.
Yeah, she was really stymied a little bit, trying to find her comfort zone in the half-court offense. In transition, she did a nice job, but half-court offense was a little difficult for her.
And Mead pushed to the floor by Jalen Gregory. 3rd foul against Gregory. And Gregory just ran through the screen.
Yeah, just fought hard to get through that screen. I don't know. I don't like that call necessarily, but
Del-Gawad looking for cutters, finds Blevins. Can't get the runner to fall. And here comes Gregory.
I know everybody in Lafayette and Macon County didn't like the call either, Jake. We talked about Abdel-Gawad getting going. Here's a chance for Malishka. She sat in the first half in foul trouble. There's no doubt Middle's focus is to try to get her the ball and get her going. She's their leading scorer now in conference play.
And shuffled her feet in that high post. Played just 5 minutes in that first half, averaging 13.5 points per contest, leading scorer for Middle. Does all of her damage off of the bench. Mead, step back 3. Off the front of the rim. Last touch by Western.
And you can already see as we get into this second half. The pace is much different than the start of the game. Both teams are now in their comfort zone.
Yeah, the way this game started was a track meet.
I'm sure Coach Collins had talked to his players at length about this rivalry. And, you know, when you've got a rivalry like this and you're a young player, it's your job to educate those kids as to what this rivalry means, how important it is to both communities.
Third foul against Maya Meredith, the freshman, as Malashka will go to the line. Her first free throw attempts tonight. One team foul apiece here in the opening moments of the third, as Malashka hits the first free throw. Middle Tennessee just 8 of 13 from the free throw stripe in the first half, as Malashka knocks down a pair. 5 points for the redshirt junior from Belarus.
And what those post touches will do for Malashka and Middle Tennessee is, again, get the three-point line open for Middle Tennessee, because you saw there Western Kentucky really started to get around Malashka. I expect her to start kicking those balls out for some three-point shots.
Now here comes Dorsar, had 7 first half points, knocked down a couple of threes. Malashka against Abdel Gawad. Now Sar wide open, shorts it, and Malashka was the last one to touch it.
Lady Toppers have come out the second half and just went man, and they've decided they're going to try to get in the middle and be physical and see if they can't cause some turnovers right there. We'll see how that adjustment plays out, but I like it. I like Coach Collins saying, hey, we've got to match their physicality. We got to match their toughness if we want to get back into this basketball game.
And offensively for Western, just 7 made field goals. Now 8 as Meade, the freshman, finishes a nice drive. But this is the leading scoring offense in Conference USA. They lead the conference in so many offensive categories, including field goal percentage, three-point shooting. Really struggling here tonight against this swarming Middle Tennessee defense.
But we talk about it at length. Middle Tennessee for 17 years have put an emphasis on defending. Defending on the ball, defending off the ball, defending actions.
Abdel Gawad going to be fouled by Sar on the ground. Second against Sar, and that's going to be the second in the quarter against Middle. As Boldareva will take a seat.
I know Dorsar wanted the steal there, but that was a good foul. It prevented her from shooting the basketball. Western has to take it out under the basket.
Ball out of bounds stays with Western, 21 on the shot clock, and even 7 minutes here in the third. Rick Insel looking on, looking for his 23rd win in this series. And his third against Greg Collins since Collins took over in 2018, as Meade, a nice drive, can't finish, and Sar comes away with it. And the freshman, Jalen Foster, a little bit too much jersey on Malashka. That's the third against Foster.
Ksenia did a nice job, Malashka did, of running head on the rim and ducking in hard and getting big and showing her numbers for that post feed. And Western Kentucky really, really struggles to combat the size right now that the Lady Raiders can continue to throw at them.
So they bring in the 6'3" Gabby McBride, redshirt freshman from Roanoke, Texas, and the transfer from Iowa State, and she immediately pokes it away. Meade zooming the other way, and count the bucket. And for the first time tonight, that Western Kentucky bench showing some life.
Defense at the other end leads to a transition opportunity, and we said it. WKU is going to attack you in transition. They want to get to the rim.
And Meade misses the and one, but Abdel Gawad able to finish. It's a 7-point game, and this is the closest it has been in a while.
Quick 6-0 run for the Lady Toppers over this last minute, and Middle without a basket for 2 minutes.
Middle going around the horn now. Malashka at the free throw line, and Savory with a strip, and Malashka with a foul, and Greg Collins out on the floor wanting an intentional foul.
I think the officials are saying go to your bench. They're going to look at it. Let's go to break.
So with 5:58 to go, we're going to take a break, and we come back. Western on the prowl. Western Kentucky on a little 6-0 run, and they have cut this Middle Tennessee lead to 7. But before we went to break, officials were reviewing a foul call on Senia Malashka, and she has been rung up for her 3rd foul, and it's an intentional foul. So that'll send Hope Savory, the sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky, and a 72% free throw shooter, to the line, and she shorts the front end of the 2 shots.
Yeah, it was the right call. Senia just got frustrated and reached out and tried to prevent the breakaway.
8 points now for Savory. He was last year's Conference USA co-freshman of the year. And here's another look at that.
Yeah.
Foul against Malashka.
And it was close because Alexis Whittington was even with there. As nice defense there by Middle Tennessee to get this ball back.
And now officials over on the sideline.
Not sure. I think the clock might have been running still on that steal there, but we'll see. But anyway, again, credit Western Kentucky, and we said this, and Middle Tennessee knew this coming in. It was not going to be an easy game. It wasn't going to be a cakewalk. This team competes. They play hard. There's a reason that they're 7-1 in conference. They're not going to just go down without a fight tonight, and they came here to play this second half.
Savory jumps the passing lane and fires ahead to Meade for the easy deuce, and here comes Western. 6 second-half points for the freshman from Moreno Valley, California. And it's a 4-point game as this foul is going against Savory, her 2nd.
Yeah, and their 22 press that Western likes to run, they come in to try to trap the pickup dribble when it's there on the sideline, and Savory just got a little too aggressive running in there to try to trap that.
15 on the shot clock for Middle. Boulder-Reva jumper on the baseline is short, and a nice rebound by McBride. And Western trying to make this a 1-possession game. Drive and kick, Savory, 3, short. And Meade, the freshman, diving for it with Whittington, and Middle able to come away with it.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again today. Alexis Whittington is everywhere right now for Middle Tennessee on the defensive end, the offensive end, and I loved that pass. Alexis Whittington saw Courtney Whitson there, but she didn't rush it. And the way to attack a zone is right there in that high post area. Alexis looked to the left and then made a little no-look into Courtney Whitson. Real nice basketball there by the senior.
3rd assist tonight for Whittington, going along with 9 rebounds. Delgawad in trouble.
And again, guarding Western Kentucky's best player, Alexis Whittington, having a great game today.
Levens on the drive, fighting through contact, gets it to drop. 2nd bucket tonight for the freshman. Back to a 4-point game. Very rarely does this rivalry ever disappoint, as Whittington off the mark, and another nice rebound from McBride. Meade fouled on the drive, on the floor. And a lot of energy from that Western Kentucky sideline here to start this 2nd half. And with just under 4 minutes Left in the third quarter, Western Kentucky is on the move, led by the freshman Alexis Mead. Courtney Whitson has the only field goal for Middle Tennessee here in the third quarter. Meanwhile, Western Kentucky, 5 made buckets here in the first 6 minutes of the third quarter after making just 7 the entire first half. This Western offense has found its mojo, Darren.
They have. They've started to attack downhill, really worked on getting the ball off the bounce and getting a couple in transition also. So credit the Lady Toppers and Coach Greg Collins. They're right back in this basketball game.
Alexis Mead, the freshman, knocks down the first free throw. Been playing very well as of late. Double figures in 3 of her last 4, including 17 in the loss on the road against UAB. And she now has 11 to lead all scores. Full court pressure from Western. And it's just a 2-point ball game.
That time they went full court man. And they're staying in man this possession.
Whistle away from the ball. Looks like it's going against McBride. That's going to be the 3rd for Gabby McBride. Coming off the bench. And nobody home for that pass. Whitson able to track it down. 20 on the shot clock for Middle. The double on Malashka. And she turned it over. And Abdel Gawad, another steal. And this Middle offense is really struggling to start this second half.
Well, it was the right idea. Cindy Malashka, when she got the ball in the high post and she turned and faced, Courtney Whitson did the right thing because she cut to the rim. Malashka took 1 dribble too many, and she missed the opportunity to dump that ball to Courtney Whitson right there.
And Whitson is going to be charged a foul as Abdel Gawad, 69% free throw shooter. This is the front end. Abdel Gawad making her 107th straight start. She has started every single game in her Western Kentucky career. And it's a 1-point ball game. A 13-2 run for Western Kentucky. The last 4 minutes and change.
And you can see the defensive intensity. The energy is picked up.
Blakely step back 3 off the front of the rim. Mead fighting for it with Gregory, and the freshman will get a jump ball, but Middle will get possession. Faustino checks in for Blevins.
No change of possession, so they're going to keep the shot clock at 20 seconds.
Western's bench calling out to look for the lob, which we have seen from Middle.
And with Western liking to play zone on these out of bounds, it's there.
Yep.
McBride's just got to, there she goes. She's just got to kind of muscle up a little bit to Malashka. Middle usually just likes to throw that lob at a short shot clock.
Whittington for 3. Got it! Big, big 3 from Alexis Whittington. And Gregory takes out the legs from Mead. And that's the 4th foul on Jalen Gregory. And that'll send Mead to the line for 2 as Middle or Western is in the bonus for the rest of the quarter.
Jalen Gregory trying to do a little too much, aggressive, diving on the floor for that loose ball. Reminds me a lot of Courtney Whitson when Courtney was a freshman. She got into foul trouble sometimes because she was a little too aggressive, and that's something that she'll have to learn as she continues her development as a college basketball player, is you pick your spots. Because 4 fouls in the third quarter with 2 minutes and 49 seconds left, you're going to find yourself on the bench as a freshman.
And a free throw. Can't fall for Mead. She's 5 of 8 from the stripe tonight. 3 of 7 from the floor, knocks down the second. And it's a 3-point lead for Middle. And here comes Blakely breaking the press. Malashka against McBride. McBride, count it.
What a take by Ksenia Malashka. Did a great job again, running head on the rim, established post position. Blakely clears out, and here comes Ksenia right in here, and then goes hard to the left shoulder, to her right shoulder with her left hand right there. We missed that part, but really, really nice job running the floor hard.
McBride was straight up, but she got her with the body as she was going up. And a tough bucket for Ksenia Malashka, just her second field goal tonight, as there might be some moisture on the floor.
But see, she got her with the body underneath, and what you teach all post players, young, old alike, is when you go to your move, you want to finish to the rim. So Malashka wanted to try to get her lean towards the rim to initiate contact. And what you saw as she went to do that, you saw McBride just hip check her underneath right there. Her hands were straight up, but I thought she got her with the body. I thought it was a good call by the officials. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking at on the replay.
That's the 4th foul on McBride. Both teams are in the bonus for the final 2:39 of this quarter. McBride has given Greg Collins some good minutes off the bench, had a couple of deflections, a bunch of rebounds, and I'm not sure what they're looking at either. I originally thought that there might have been maybe some blood or some sort of water or sweat on the floor that they were going to clean up from what the players were pointing at, but the officials are over by the monitor, so not 100% sure.
See if we can get a look here. Maybe looking for some more contact by McBride. I don't know. If they're looking at something, I didn't see anything right there, Jake. But a lot of times in a situation like this, they're going to go to the monitor and see if there was any sort of, flagrant activity. Looks like they don't. They say no, there wasn't anything. And I agree. I didn't see anything on that replay right there.
So it's a 5-point advantage for Middle Tennessee. Western got it to within 1 after being down by as much as 18 in the first half. But a very impressive third quarter for this Western Kentucky offense, led by the freshman Alexis Mead, who has 9 third-quarter points. And as you were saying, Darren, it's not that they're doing anything special. They're just playing very sound defensively and finally kind of getting into their offense.
Yeah, and they've converted some turnovers now. 13 points off of turnovers for Western Kentucky.
Blevins for 3. Got it! Second 3 tonight for Macy Blevins on a nice pass from Alexis Mead, that freshman to freshman connection. Lead back to 3 for Middle. Blakely will step into 1. Well off, and Abdul Gawad now pushing ahead to Faustino. And a nice follow-up by Blevins. 1-point game. Bouldereva looking for help. Now here comes the double. Del Gawad trying to tie up Whitson. And she does, and Western Kentucky takes away a possession from Middle, and now they have the chance to take the lead. The lead was 11 at halftime as Gracie Dodgen, the freshman from Sparta, Tennessee, gets her first action tonight as Bouldereva will take a seat.
Gracie Dodgen, a 3-point shooter. Unlimited range from Sparta, White County High School. She's in because Jalen Gregory is on the bench with 4 fouls.
Mead in trouble. Blevins on the drive. Wide open at the rim is Foster, and Western in front. Roaring back from an 18-point first half deficit, an 11-point halftime deficit on the road. Whitson able to draw the foul against Foster, and that's going to be her fourth as well.
Coach Rick Insel going back with Jalen Gregory with the 4 fouls, rolling the dice a little bit, but he has to. It's a good call. Yep. And this is why players love playing for Coach Rick Insel as we see this replay. I love Courtney Whitson. She's going to go aggressively. There's that lean to the rim that we talk about, and it ensures that she gets to the foul line. But a lot of coaches wouldn't put a freshman back in the third quarter with 4 fouls. Wouldn't trust the players like that. Rick Insel's different. Rick Insel, he understands his kids. He's coached these kids. They understand him. And so he's putting a lot of faith and trust in her right now. But he needs her on the floor, number 1, for her shooting ability, but number 2, for her defense. She's just got to defend without fouling here.
Whitson, a 76% career free throw shooter, puts her team up by 1.
And let's see if Western Kentucky and Greg Collins find something to go right at Gregory to see if they can get her to pick up a 5th foul.
Selma Kulo has checked in for middle as Meade is stripped. Gregory to Whittington.
What a pass, Malishka to Gregory to Whittington.
Middle's lead back to 3.
Gregory on the shooter, Blevins. So that's a good matchup because she's not much of a driver.
And Meade loses it again. Back-to-back turnovers for the freshman. And now Middle can hold for the last shot of the third quarter as the shot clock is off. Sarr, the senior. Now Gregory, the freshman. Malashka with 4, got a drive. And she's going to draw the foul on the drive. Got tied up by Kulo.
Western did a nice job. Middle likes to run some cutters up on the 3-point line there. Western just switched all that, so Malashka knew she didn't have anybody open there. So the counter to that is for her to just turn and go. And that's what she did, and she did a nice job attacking the rim.
So Malashka will shoot 2 with 3 seconds even left in the quarter. It's the first, and that's the first foul against the sophomore forward from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Selma Kulo, as Malashka knocks down both. Abdel Gawad running out of time and can't get the shot off in time. But Middle Tennessee able to weather the storm in the third quarter. They lead by 5, but Western Kentucky is right back in it. 100 miles of hate never disappoints. Fourth quarter coming up right here on ESPN+. Welcome back to the Murphy Center, where the Lady Raiders have a 52-47 advantage over the Western Kentucky Lady Toppers. But about 100 miles north of here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the Middle Tennessee men getting the job done on the road at EA Diddle Arena, 93-85, and another nice win for Nick McDevitt's crew on the road. And this one here at the Glass House is turning into another classic, the first time that these two teams have played here since the double overtime classic back in 2020. Middle swept on the road at Diddle Arena with those back-to-back home games thanks to the pod scheduling in last year's COVID season.
Hey, and how about Nick McDevitt? I mean, I don't want to glass over that. He went on the road to Huntington, West Virginia with the Blue Raiders, and then Bowling Green, Kentucky, and got 2 big wins and scored 93 points today. Good job, Blue Raiders.
And a huge 3 from Malashka out of the gate as the lead is 55-47 for for Middle. Western Kentucky had a big third quarter, trailed by 11 at the half. But Alexis Meade, the freshman, who will go to the line, had 9 third quarter points. And Western still continuing to attack the rim, and that's how they got back into this game.
Absolutely. In the first half, they shot 16 three-pointers, so they were averaging 8 per quarter. They only shot 3 in the third quarter. So they absolutely did what we thought they would and said, we're going to get back in this by attacking and penetrating and going to the glass hard and getting out in transition, and it's paid off.
Mead hits the second, and that's actually a big foul. That's Malashka's 4th foul. So 2 Lady Raiders with 4 fouls. 2 of their better players, Jalen Gregory and Senior Malashka, playing with 4. And both are on the floor. Gregory from deep. Got it!
And that's why they're on the floor. Jalen Gregory gives you that at both ends of the floor. You can protect her a little better. Malashka's got to be careful right now because as an interior defender, it could be easy for her to pick up a foul if she's not careful.
Back-to-back threes for Middle Tennessee gives them a 10-point advantage. And Blevins stepped out of bounds.
And Jalen Gregory, she had that scared look in her eye because she went for that shot fake again, trying to block that shot. You can't do that with 4 fouls. And I know as soon as she got in the air, I know she said, "Oops, I better not do that again."
16th turnover for Western Kentucky tonight. Very balanced scoring attack for Middle Tennessee. Several players with 9 as Boulder Rava blocked at the rim by Selma Kula.
Might have been blocked by the rim. I'm not sure about that. It's a good call at the other end with the travel and the hop step to the jump. Boulder Rava just got too low when she went to her drop step. It's all about angles, and she buried herself. She put her in a position under the basket where she just couldn't go back up and score it.
That last call, absolutely a travel. That happens 100 times a game in modern college basketball.
And the pros.
And the pros, especially the pros. Sarr on the drive and is going to be fouled on the drive by Jenna Walker. That's her first.
And with Sarr and Whittington and Gregory in for Middle Tennessee, it stretches this zone defense. Western Kentucky has to play the perimeter right now, and when it does, it opens up the gap. You see that gap there by Dorsar. The high post is open because of the shooters.
Pulls the trigger off the mark. Adele Gawad trying to take it herself, loses it, and Whittington strips it.
Alexis Whittington has been everywhere on both ends of the floor for the Lady Raiders today.
Middle trying to work this clock with a 10-point advantage. Dorsar wide open 3. Boulder Rava able to get a hand on it, but knocked it out of bounds. Western Kentucky trailing by 10, and Morel Abdel-Gawad, the leading scorer in the conference, one of the leading scorers in the nation, averaging more than 20 points per contest, just 7 points on 2 of 3 from the floor. Sulo, a nice drop pass for the freshman Meredith.
And Meredith with the great cut. One of the best things in the world for offense on a post feed is for the person that made the pass to just cut hard to the basket. Meredith did that right there and got rewarded.
Meredith just 5 points. So the 2 leading scorers for Western Kentucky, who usually average more than 33.5 points per contest combined, less than half that as another offensive rebound for Middle. Sarr, heat check. Shooter's roll.
It's the opposite heat check because, again, she had missed a couple back-to-back in a row, but Dorsar's not afraid to shoot it again.
First 3 of the second half for Sarr, the 3rd tonight. She now has 10. Walker misses everything. Rebounded by Western. And Kulo is tied up, and it'll stay with WKU. 6 on the shot clock.
Tied up by none other than Alexis Whittington.
Whittington, 9 points tonight, 10 rebounds. Go along with 4 steals and 3 assists.
I think they're going to get Courtney Whitson right there for a hold. Courtney got beat on this in the first half for a layup by Western Kentucky by just being a little out of position.
Third foul on Whitson. Second team foul against Middle here in the quarter. Foster looking for help and turns it over. So this Western Kentucky offense that was firing on all cylinders in the third quarter has been stymied here in the first half of the fourth. Whittington with 5. Now Sarr. Drive and kick. Gregory. Just grazed the rim, and there's Whittington. Cleans up her own mess. Double-double tonight for the senior from right here in Murfreesboro. And a nice drive by Maral El-Dugwad.
Abdel Gawad, so good off the bounce, so aggressive to the rim. Nice finish there with her opposite hand. But yeah, Middle, the benefit there probably of not having the foul called because Alexis got her rebound and was able to score the putback.
Lead is back to 11. Lead was as much as 18 back in the first half as Boldareva's jumper a little bit too strong. And Abdel Gawad shuffled her feet.
And that was the difference right there. Abdel Gawad can't finish with the bigger Boldareva underneath. She knew it.
The Blue Raiders feeling it in the fourth. They lead by 11, 63-52. Alexis Whittington, the senior from right here in Murfreesboro, putting on a show. Her 5th career double-double. 11 points, 12 boards. 4 of those on the offensive end to go along with 4 steals and 3 assists. And her team leads by 11. With 4 minutes left here in the fourth quarter against their arch rival, Western Kentucky.
And holding Abdel Gawad to 9 points right now. Doing it on the defensive end of the floor also.
That's going to be the second foul on Abdel Gawad.
Middle Tennessee continuing to own the glass. They've got a +10 in second chance points right now. The difference in the basketball game as they're up 11.
And I told you during the break, Western Kentucky only 3 field goal attempts so far here in the fourth quarter. So everything that was going right for them in the third going wrong here in the fourth as Whittington with a prayer cleared by Abdel Gawad. Western's got to score, and they've got to score fast. And a nice backdoor cut by Jalen Foster, an even beautiful find from Hope Savoy.
It was Hope Savoy got in the paint, and Middle did a good job of not fouling. They didn't want to commit the foul. Courtney Whitson was in there with 4 fouls. Savoy did a nice job finding the cutter there.
Malashka, Gregory, Sarr, all with 4 fouls, all on the floor for Middle Tennessee. Whitson with 3 fouls as Whittington looking for Malashka, fighting through the contact. Here comes Alexis Mead in transition. And Abdel Gawad cleans it up. 11 now for Maral Abdel Gawad, the only senior on this Western Kentucky roster, leading scorer in the conference. Malashka, step back three, pure.
What an answer for Ksenia Malashka, and a great timeout. Coach Insel loves to do this late in game. He'll call timeout after they score so he can regather his troops, set the defense, and make sure that this lead stays where it needs to be for them to pick up the victory.
Ksenia Malashka only played 5 minutes in that first half due to foul trouble, but she has been on fire here in the second. 16 points. And she has been perfect from behind the arc, 3 of 3, as she leads the scoring in this ball game with 16 points. You see Matt Insel drawing up a play for Middle.
What he's doing is he's talking defense right now. You can see by the way he's accentuating the drawing right there. He's saying the back cut. He's addressing that back cut from the last play right there, and he's making sure that doesn't happen again.
Middle's lead is back to 10. It was as high as 18 back in the first half. Western Kentucky came roaring back in the third. Got a 1-point lead after an 11-point halftime deficit, but since then it has been all Middle on the offensive end.
And think about this. A minute left in the third quarter, 1-point lead. Coach Insel puts Jalen Gregory back in. And we said right there, that's the roll of the dice. That's a big gamble, because if she picks up that 5th foul, the whole complexion of this game could change. But he needed to do it because the complexion of the game had already changed.
Middle has knocked down 11 threes here tonight. The leading three-point shooting team, along with Western in the conference. Two minutes left. Middle on top by 10. Alexis Mead hard to the bucket. She's having herself a second half.
She has a good little hesitation right there, and she turned the corner and got the score right there, but Middle just wants to run clock now.
15 now for the freshman Mead. Malashka on the drive and runs into Abdel Gawad, but it'll stay with Middle. So Western Kentucky on the verge of dropping their second straight game after a 9-game winning streak and opening the conference slate with 7 straight wins. And this is a big game for conference standings, as Sarr too strong on the long-range shot. Nice take by Mead.
The downside to a long shot. Long shots equal long rebounds, and if you're not back, it just creates a transition opportunity for Western, who scored a quick 6 points now, and they're right back in this.
And a big turnover, and Abdel Gawad at the rim. And Western not going away. A 4-point game with a minute left.
Western content not to foul. Coach Collins is saying just play it out, keep defending. A made basket by Middle here or an offensive rebound can pretty much seal this game.
Sarr, drive and kick, corner three, Whittington, in and out, but Malashka there to clean it up and count it!
She got fouled, yeah. We couldn't hear the whistle because the crowd was into it. Offensive rebound could seal this game, and it sure did. Great job by Ksenia Malashka, finding the weak side here on the shot by Alexis Whittington. Look at Malashka get weak side position there, and she's so good with either hand. She can score right there at the rim with both hands. What a finish.
Malashka tacks on the and one as Greg Collins will take a timeout with 37.2 to go.
I wish they'd do this in the men's. I was watching a men's game the other night, Jake, and it was a close game down the stretch, and they had to still take it out the length of the court. Women's basketball, women's college basketball, under a minute. They have a chance to advance the ball to half court like they do in the NBA and every other sports governing body for basketball. They just won't do it for men.
Middle on top, 69-62. Western Kentucky not going away. They've been fighting and clawing their way back since halftime, but every time they do come back, Middle has had an answer.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting here. Western wants to go quick. They need to try to score quick right here. Do they try to get something to the rim and go for two? That's been successful for them here in the second half. Or do they try to get a three-point shot?
Meade in trouble. Now Abdel Gawad on the drive. Drops it off. And nice bucket by Foster. Beautifully executed by Western. As we're going to make sure that the clock is accurate. Currently says 28 seconds even.
I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Insel calls a timeout here and advances the ball. Not because they want to be in a position to score, but it gets the ball further away from Western Kentucky's basket.
Which, as we saw on the last possession, was an issue, or 2 possessions ago, I should
Exactly.
say.
Yep, so one of the reasons why it's important, not so much, if you need to have some timeouts at the end of the game, in case you're down or in case you need to draw something up, you also, because of this rule, you want to have a couple timeouts in your pocket so that you could advance the ball and make it easier for you to get it in, to run your offense.
Western has made their last 5 buckets. 3 team fouls right now against Western Kentucky. Middle Tennessee has just 2. 3 players with 4 fouls on the floor for Middle Tennessee. Malashka, Gregory, and Sarr. Foster with 4 for Western. So Middle will inbound in front of their own bench. 28.6 to go.
So you take Foster out because Western's got to foul a couple times here.
And almost instantly,
I think they called Savoy.
I think Blevins, actually.
Blevins, okay. So yeah, they'll have to foul again before it gets to a 2 shots.
And Malashka able to sneak through a couple of Western defenders and is fouled by Abdel Gawad.
Malashka saw an open lane to the basket and just said, you know what, I'll take it because I'm either going to make this or I'm going to get fouled and go to the free throw line.
Malashka. 18 second half points for the redshirt junior transfer from VCU, all the way from Minsk, Belarus. Driving kick 3 off, and Middle able to rebound, and that ought to do it as Macy Blevins will foul Jalen Gregory on the opposite end of the floor.
It's going to turn into a real big win for Middle Tennessee and the Lady Raiders, but I'm very impressed with Coach Collins. And you watch him on film, and you watch him Thursday night at UAB, and you just wonder what kind of effort they were going to give today with such a young team coming off a tough loss down there. They played their hearts out. They play hard. They're competitive. They made some nice adjustments, and they do a nice job defending. They're going to be a team that's going to make some noise come conference tournament time.
And the way this game started, especially offensively for Western Kentucky, it wouldn't have been surprising to see such a young team bury their head. But this team fought back. Western Kentucky fought back, made it a game, took the lead at one point in the 3rd quarter. And they did a great job of bringing their own energy, especially after a tough road loss on Thursday night against UAB, as Western uses their final timeout, full timeout.
They did, but they're a team that, I mean, again, 14-5 overall this year, 7-0 in conference coming into this week before they went on the road. So they know how to win. They've won some basketball games. They've also lost some games that I think have been great teaching opportunities for them. So there wasn't a doubt in my mind. Now, I could be a little surprised that they took the lead in the 3rd quarter, but there wasn't a doubt in my mind they were going to come out and they were going to compete in the second half, and that's exactly what they did.
Western Kentucky was picked to finish 12th in the Conference USA preseason poll coming into this week. They were 2nd in the East, and that's why this game is so big, because Middle currently is 3rd, and with a win here against Western, they would have the same conference record at 7-2.
We said at the beginning of the game, Western Kentucky forces 22 turnovers a game. Middle's done a good job only turning it over 16 times today.
Levin's the trigger with 10 seconds left. Meade looking for a seam, loses her edge. And Malashka and the Lady Raiders survive a scare from these young Lady Hilltoppers. But another classic ball game between these two very proud, historic programs goes down as a classic as Middle Tennessee hangs on for a 71-64 lead win. And Senior Malashka, 21 points off the bench for Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, big second half for Ksenia Malashka. But again, if we had to do a player of the game, it's easy for me today. It's Alexis Whittington. She did it on the offensive end. She had a double-double. She also did it on the defensive end, holding Abdel Gawad well below her conference leading average.
Alexis Whittington, the senior, 11 points, 12 rebounds. Her 5th career double-double is a game-sealing double-double as Middle able to pick up the win. As we take a look at our final numbers for tonight. Here's a look at the stats.
You shoot 47% as Western Kentucky does. You think you should be in that basketball game, but again, the turnovers hindered them today, as well as their inability to shoot the three-point shot.
Western Kentucky shooting 46% from the floor after shooting about 22% the entire first half. So for Darren Park and our entire Media Arts production crew, I'm Jake Rose saying so long from the Murphy Center, where the final score tonight is Middle Tennessee 71, Western Kentucky 64. This has been a presentation of ESPN from Murfreesboro. So long, everybody.